Thank you for coming. Well, there's so many happy people here. I feel, how should I say, not up to the level. But I'm delighted that you came to this celebration. This is a highly unique event, the first in my life, as a matter of fact. And to get the discussion started, I hope we can talk about the things, not only those related to the book, but also other issues of current interest. I put together 7 slides to tell you a little bit about what I do here at Duke. And so first, the acknowledgments that begin with what I wrote here. That in this writing adventure, I was encouraged and shaped by Mary. Mary and I discuss ideas constantly. We keep our children very close. Christina, Teresa, and William contributed to this book with many, many things, including art. But these 2 photographs were made by Mary to make one point, which is in the lower right are the footprints on the same side of the body, the footprints of a leopard, showing that the leopard, the quadruped, brings from the back, meaning the rear foot, right on top of the footprint left by the front paw. In other words, on the same side of the body, those 2 members are touching the same spot. And that contradicts an opinion, where I read it many places in biology, that claims that the giraffe walks with the 2 legs like this, 2 apart on one side, the other 2 on the other side advancing forward. That turns out to be incorrect. As shown in this photograph, you see the hind leg touches the ground on the spot vacated by the front leg. So all quadrupeds are stable on the ground. This is for my colleagues like me in mechanics. They're touching the ground like a stool with 3 legs, 2 on one side and a double one on the right, you see, and then 2 on the right and a double one on the left. And that is, how should I say, extreme stability per unit weight of design. Yeah, that's, you see Constructal law everywhere you look. So that's one thing. The second thing is what I wrote about my career, which is now a little bit longer than 4 decades. I have enjoyed the freedom of a Duke University professor. Here I have discovered the recipe for individuals' happy and creative life, which is freedom and humility, surrounded by inquisitive, bright students, appreciative of learning. And these 2 lines refer to the closest here around me, who are excellent examples of the Duke student who comes here voluntarily in order to get shaped in life. The book cover was an accident, a photograph that appeared in front of us. Mary and I were in the wild in Africa, and I saw this Egyptian goose on this branch, and immediately I recognized Adrian on the branch. This is why the caption for this image, which is one of the figures in the book, states that this image is the majority of one. Every single one is an individual. Okay, now in this chamber, an individual investigator standing on dead wood, not on somebody else's shoulders, but with infinite freedom to the blue sky of ideas. What happens after the good idea is another phenomenon. But in the beginning, there's the individual with a creative mind, also known in our case as the engineer or the creator of something that did not exist before. I got my start in thermodynamics. This is the the training that I received at MIT, not only in the classroom but also in my graduate thesis, I was in cryogenics. I had a very difficult time getting a teaching position, 4 years. In fact, I kept applying, and during that period, I developed a style, which for those who grew up under communism is called the samizdat, okay, writing for the drawer, because I did not have an audience for what I was doing in the 10-man group. Anyway, but then when I finally had a position, which was after a postdoc in Berkeley, I was hired at the University of Colorado. I started writing or putting these things together in a book, and that's the 1982 book. Story goes with that. I submitted it to Pergamon Press, and they were just playing dead, not responding. And Mary said, "Hey, wait a minute! Wait, just send it to Wiley or some other publisher," and that's how this book was published. And it led to this method of entropy generation minimization, and then the textbook of meaning Advanced Engineering Thermodynamics, which is now in the 4th edition. But during this period, which is one of contemplating how to make a design better from a thermodynamic point of view, it occurred to me that what really matters is the configuration. So on the side, because at Duke I was also teaching undergraduate heat transfer, I gravitated toward the kind of the heat transfer mode that was impressing us with configuration, and that is convection. So my books began with the first two on the left. The second is in the 4th edition as well. But in 1983, here at Duke, based on the undergraduate heat transfer course, I wrote the textbook, which is the 3rd cover. And during the pandemic, I published an updated version of my undergraduate heat transfer textbook. You see, the evolution was not really outside of the thermodynamics and heat transfer tent. It was toward what was in the tent, but not recognized as science, which is the occurrence, and then the evolution with freedom of the flow architecture for benefit, for the benefit of the maker or the one with the imagination. And this sort of was not a sudden click, led to this line of design science books that started as textbooks in the year 2000. And you can look at the covers. And today's topic is on the right-hand side. The punchline meaning the thing to admire at this stage is that even though the beginning was shaky and very modest, with a lot of rejections, okay, in 4 years, something big or unique has happened. And that is on this last slide. This kind of thinking represents a school of thought associated with Duke. You can call it design in nature or constructal law. I think of it as thermodynamics of 2026, but it is about the primordial presence of the idea before observing, the idea before empiricism. The idea is the fastest and cheapest investigation method. It costs nothing. You wake up with it in the morning. That is the spark that drives everything, from the piston and cylinder to the wheel to all these things, the wrench, all these things that we take for granted today, the idea. And in a few months from now, the 16th Constructal Law Conference will be hosted at the University of Paris, you say Paris Sciences et Lettres, on the left bank, exactly across the river from the Louvre. It is hosted by the School of Architecture. When I was finishing high school, I wanted to be an architect, but I had a choice to make between that and basketball, and I chose basketball. Uh, Another kind of architecture. Um, Anyway, so this is the 16th. The very first two were organized at Duke. Those, let's call them fellow travelers, have multiplied, and now they're running this activity. Last October, they ran this conference at Florida International University. Before that, it was run in Turin, in Bucharest, and a few other such places, Brazil. But this year it is in Paris. Next year it will be at the Imperial College in London. And these are important events, not only for this school of thought, for science, but important events for Duke. So all of you, in fact, I encourage my students to bring their term papers and present them at this show and publish them in reputable journals. Thank you for your attention, and I'm here to answer all the questions that have not been imagined yet.